He is the most powerful sorcerer on Krynn. He made deals with gods to further his ambition. He is Fistandantilus. Welcome to another DragonLance Saga episode. My name is Adam, and today we're going to talk about the Dark One himself, Fistandantilus. I'd like to take a moment and thank my collaborator patrons, the Heroes of the Lance, and invite you to consider becoming a patron or a member of this channel by visiting the links in the description below. You can even pick up DragonLance gaming materials using my affiliate link. This episode is informed by many source books and the DragonLance Wiki. I may miss some bits of information, however, or even misspeak in the presentation. If you have any comments or corrections, please add them below. Now, it is unknown exactly when Fistandantilus was born, or when he took his test of High Sorcery, save that it was in the Age of Might. What is known is that he was supremely gifted in magic. After his test of High Sorcery, he took the red robes and seemed content until he became intimately aware of his own mortality. He was infuriated at the thought of his vast magical knowledge being wasted and turned to dust in death. He beseeched Gilean, the god of neutrality, to allow him to continue living on Krynn. But alas, having actually created humans, Gilean intended them to have limits. Fistandantilus was counseled to accept his fate. Refusing to do so, Fistandantilus called out to Takhisis herself, demanding to be able to look upon the black moon. She granted his request and transported him to the abyss, where he glimpsed the future and his lived past. She gave him the Bloodstone, a magical artifact that would extend his life by transferring the victim's essence into his body. With his continued existence, his means of immortality secured, he renewed his devotion to magic and learned all he could, even crafting new spells. He became close to High Mage Gilean, a black robe who recently became head of the tower, and was instrumental in convincing local lords to allow the construction of 4 more towers of High Sorcery. In 2018 PC, he fought alongside his colleagues of High Sorcery in defeating the renegade war mage Maelok. When the orders demanded the destruction of Maelok's fortress in Zamin, Fistandantilus convinced them to keep it as an invaluable place for study, as it was rumored to be indestructible. Fistandantilus would live and work in Zamin for 1,000 years, until the end of the Third Dragon War in 1018 PC. In that time, he would assist the Emperor of Ergoth and Vinus Solemnus in a couple of adventure campaigns. For a time, he was even head of the Tower of Palanthus. Exactly when his ambition to become a god is also unknown, but at some point before traveling to Istar in 100 PC, he had determined this course of action. Fistandantilus and the fall of Istar are also linked, for it was due to his machinations that Beldin became the high priest because of the prophecy of the Lightbringer. Fistandantilus was manipulating Istar for 2 reasons. He could study about the portals to the abyss in secret, and he could find one true cleric he needed to help him open the portal. However, when the Lightbringer came, with him came the hatred of darkness. This would include the wizards of High Sorcery. Fistandantilus offered the new king priest, Beldinas, the seeds to destroy the groves surrounding the towers of High Sorcery in trade for becoming his personal advisor. Beldinas consented, but during the lost battles, the towers and portals would be abandoned and destroyed. In his effort to secure a portal, Fistandantilus would drive his apprentice, Andraz Rannoch, insane and have him jump to his death to curse and seal the gates until the Master of Past and Present returned to open them. Ironically, unknown to Fistandantilus, the portal in the Tower of Palanthus was removed to his old stomping grounds, the Fortress of Zamin. But, secure in his belief that a portal was now saved for him, he began work on corrupting a holy priest. In 1 PC, knowing the coming cataclysm and political upheaval to come, Fistandantilus purchased gladiator Ferragas for protection. When clerics began disappearing, Fistandantilus chose the only remaining holy priest, Denubis, who had just completed transcribing the holy discs of Mishakal, to open the portal. Learning that the portal in Palanthus was no longer there, he traveled to the Great Library to question Astinus about its location. Astinus denied him the knowledge he sought until Fistandantilus made a bargain he couldn't refuse. Fistandantilus would craft the Globe of Present Time Seeing to assist the historian in chronicling time. Astinus would grant Fistandantilus a clue to where the portal lay. In 39 AC, Fistandantilus, Denubis, and Ferragas traveled south and collected an army consisting of displaced and disgruntled Solemnia citizens and knights. When they arrived in Abanasinia, they were approached by an army of plainsmen led by Dark Knight and an army of Neater dwarves led by Rhaegar Fireforge. The plainsmen joined Fistandantilus' army out of greed, wanting to take what the mountain dwarves supposedly stole to survive the winter, and the Neater dwarves wanted to avenge their honor for having been abandoned by their mountain dwarf cousins to starve during the winter. Fistandantilus' army captured Pax Tharkaz on the way to Thorbarden, and if he had waited, he could have defeated Thorbarden as well, but he was too close to his prize, the portal in Zamin. Before abandoning his army, he cast 4 great elemental spells. The first was fire, which swept the battlefield. The second was ice, trapping the warriors in battle. The third was a great storm spell that was contained with Spellbinder, one of the 2 spells that were used to contain the Grey Gem. This was removed from the battlefield and never went off. The 4th spell is unknown to this day. When he arrived at Zamin and used Denubis to open the portal, at his moment of triumph, after nearly 2 centuries of planning, a gnome named Nimsh activated a magical device that may or may not have been his own time-traveling device, which interfered with the fragile spell Fistandantilus was casting. The effect was equal to 1,000,000 fireballs, which spread across the landscape, blowing the top off Zamin, thereby creating Skullcap like an atomic bomb, decimating all of the armies on the field, including Denubis and Fistandantilus himself in the process. Now, Fistandantilus' essence remained due to his magnificent power and Takhisis' will, who promised him a body in the future in which to aid in her return to Krynn through the Istar portal in the now ruined Temple of Istar, which dwelt in the Abyss temporarily. A young Raistlin Magir would encounter Fistandantilus during his Test of High Sorcery 300 years later, and accepted the deal Fistandantilus offered. Raistlin would allow Fistandantilus' essence to enter the young mage, taking enough of his life force to sustain himself, and Fistandantilus would assist him in defeating a dark elf and completing his test. The young Raistlin Magir would agree, and for the rest of Raistlin's life, they would struggle with each other, trying to gain dominance over Raistlin's body. Raistlin would travel back in time to battle Fistandantilus, but that is another tale for another day. And that is the abbreviated tale of Fistandantilus. Was there anything you believed to be germane to his story that I left out? Do you think Fistandantilus actually won in his battle with Raistlin? And finally, would Raistlin be the character he is without Fistandantilus? Leave a comment below. I'd like to once again invite you to consider becoming a patron or member of this channel, and you can pick up DragonLance gaming materials using my affiliate link, all of which are in the description below. This channel is all about celebrating the wonderful world of the DragonLance Saga, and I hope you'll join me in the celebration. Thank you for watching. This has been Adam with DragonLance Saga, and until next time, remember, by his failure, your brother succeeded in what he set out to accomplish. In a way, he has become a god.